Every time this person sees you, they think to themselves, wow, that is what wish fulfillment looks like with this Seven of Cups. This is somebody that had struggled at first with questioning this connection. Are you too good to be true? Could this really be my opportunity to experience true love, the love of a lifetime, everything I have been seeking rolled up in one person? And they have been fighting these fears within. This may have caused them to be kind of like slow to take action, or it's been very hard for them to like open up about their feelings, but they have reached some point of breakthrough. They have crossed a threshold where they know that the only solution in this situation is to just dive in with you head first. They cannot successfully outrun these feelings. The voice of fear inside of them that had caused them to sort of want to sit back and observe and, kind of vet the situation out, that voice is becoming quieter and quieter. And what is taking over instead is this sense of certainty that yes, you are real, you are here, your heart is open to them, this connection is happening, sort of as much as they might be, taking that slow and steady approach, or at times where they are, accelerating forward, there is great progress between the two of you. And so this is somebody that wants to actively build in the direction of blessings. This is somebody that doesn't want to resist the call towards you anymore. This is somebody that doesn't want to empower that voice of uncertainty, that voice of fear within that has caused them up to this point to be a little cautious in their approach to you. Yeah, we've got justice. So this is somebody that wants to make up for lost time. Maybe there is an apology that is owed, or they need to kind of like change up the way that they are communicating with you if they've been sort of distant, or, the communication has been sort of sporadic between the two of you. This is somebody that wants to not just give like empty promises of, I'm on board with this, I'm wanting to pursue something with you, I'm wanting to explore more than we have with one another at this point, or than we had in the past if there's been a little bit of silence between the two of you. But this is somebody that wants to follow that up with actions, things that you can actually rely upon, where they're not just like, I promise that I'll change, but they're showing up in your reality in a very different way than they have up to this point in time, because they understand and see that you are someone very rare, you are very unique, you are very special, you're made just for them, that the moment is right, the stars have aligned, the atmosphere is right, the mood is right, inside of themselves, outside. This is somebody that is not challenged by any sort of obstacles that they may be facing at this point in time, but they feel very empowered to overcome those challenges, overcome those obstacles in the interest of fighting for this connection, or fighting to create more of an understanding between the two of you, that they are committed to putting an effort that maybe didn't come so easily for them before. We got the Six of Wands. So when they think about the future and the idea of the two of you being closer with one another, or being in a stable long-term connection, this fills this person with a sense of like deep satisfaction and victory. They feel that it would be one of their greatest accomplishments in this lifetime if they were to explore all this potential between the two of you out loud. This is somebody that senses that, you have brought a very unique experience into their life. You're a very unique person. You bring a very special kind of light into their reality, or the feelings that have been sparked within them are deep, are intense, have been confusing at times, but nevertheless have been very consistent, have sort of been a companion with this person as they have navigated their way through their own fears and their own kind of personal darkness. Every time they sort of descend within themselves, get into that sort of pattern of hesitation or questioning, your light, your energy, your presence, your love that they feel from afar is like right there with them, not in a way of like sort of, placating and just having no standards, but it's almost like you're there to receive them, to celebrate them, to cheer them on through this process of, kind of moving through doubts and uncertainties into this stance of acceptance of the situation as it is in the here and now, even accepting that element of themselves that had questioned this, had thought, maybe this is too good to be true. Maybe this is just a setup. Maybe this is something that I'm just going to put myself out there and I'm going to be shattered. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be humbled in some sort of way. Like, you've been very patient with them, maybe knowingly or, unknowingly, like energetically, you've been right there with this person as they have gone through some sort of experience of acceleration, of transcendence, of really claiming and creating victory over that voice of fear within, which had encouraged them for a period of time to sort of just hang back, to take a step back, to question if they were really up for the challenge of receiving kind of this higher vibrational experience between the two of you. So the feelings that this person has are very intense. This is something where, they may have felt very intimidated by the idea of love before, but it feels like they haven't felt that way in a very long time. And this is something that has definitely confused them as far as this connection is concerned, because you're so desirable. You're presenting as this wish fulfillment on the surface level and with everything that they've experienced with you so far. And yet there's been a part of them that is kind of like, I don't know if this is for real. I don't know if this is for me, or if this is another person's blessing and I'm just sort of setting myself up for failure here. And so through all that process of like an internal questioning and sort of changing some things inside of themselves, kind of surrendering to the process and really like reapplying or redirecting those energies that had been sort of feeding kind of that path of fear, that path of doubt, into instead the path of certainty. And like, well, what do I have to lose? I'll just trust in this. The best that can happen is that things work out very wonderfully between us, and the worst that could happen is that I get a few moments in your presence, in the light of your love, in this radiance that you exude as a person. And so this person sees it like a win-win situation either way. If they put themselves out there, if they try harder, if they try again, if they step beyond that comfort zone and everything inside of them, which sort of has improperly been sort of warning them of danger in this situation, but really it's just kind of the fear of the unknown, of this very kind of like powerful connection between the two of you, this intensity inside of them. And so this is somebody that, again, like wants to push forth beyond the stance of sort of holding themselves in place and kind of watching from afar, or taking some time to introspect. They want to provide you with certain guarantees, certain reassurances that like, I'm with you still. I'm fighting for this. I feel that you have been with me as I have been going through this process of kind of, wrestling with myself, wrestling with my own demons, wrestling with my own fears and doubts and insecurities. And you've been here through this process. You've incentivized me to stay the course. You have been someone that has illuminated even from afar aspects of an inner strength inside that I didn't know that I had. And so this is somebody that is very motivated to kind of create an easier path forward for you, in terms of coming to an understanding of how they really feel. But then they're looking forward to like creating an easier path forward for the two of you together, like working with you side by side, hand in hand, in order to figure out whatever sort of the issues are here, to provide each other with the reassurances that are necessary so you can keep showing up, so you can keep holding space for one another, so you can keep evolving together in the direction of love. Yeah, we got the Four of Pentacles. So there's a lot this person wants to say. You're on their mind very often. It feels like they are on the brink of reaching out, taking action. They picked up that phone a couple different times. They've almost dialed your number. They've almost sent that text. They almost emailed. They almost DM'd. It was like a bunch of almosts. And they keep kind of coming back into this place inside of themselves like, ooh, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if it's too little too late. I'm not sure if, you still feel the same way about me. I'm not sure if taking a step forward in the direction of pursuing this opportunity with you, if this is something that, it's just going to kind of leave me in pieces further down the road, or is this something that, is the doorway to the kind of wholeness that I have always been seeking with another person. So they have made massive amounts of progress moving beyond kind of the insistent chatter in the mind space and in their heart that had been causing them to sort of question everything, question themselves, question the circumstances. There almost might have been something about your connection that felt just like too good to be true, too perfect, too aligned, that it's sort of like, what's the catch? You know, what's the gimmick here? What am I not seeing? What am I getting myself into? You know, and so they gave it some time within themselves. They either slowed their approach to you, or this might be somebody that's closed off or has taken a step back altogether. But they're at a point now of sort of like they've calmed that fear within them enough, or they're standing on top of it firmly enough that it's like, you know what, I need to just not empower that uncertainty within, because I'm still captivated by you. I'm still mesmerized by you. I cannot sufficiently tell myself that it is in my best interests to simply stand back and allow you to become some other person's blessing. And so this is somebody that it feels like they're getting ready to provide you with a lot of material reassurances. These are action steps. These are clear descriptions of their feelings. Maybe even for some, you know, kind of a preview into that sort of arena of fear that they've been kind of like doing the gladiatorial match within, you know, kind of them versus themselves, just trying to overcome those fears, trying to overcome those uncertainties in order to emerge a more victorious version of themselves, in order to provide you with some kind of sense of stability, something that is more of a guarantee than you've had up to this point in time, so that you feel safe to, you know, open up to this, so that you feel safe to sort of trust in what the next steps can be between the two of you. Yeah, we got the King of Swords. So that is the energy of cutting through the silence, cutting through the mystery, providing that ultimate truth. This person sees that there is the potential for true love with you, in a way that may be very mysterious to them almost. It's sort of like we take steps into the unknown, and I don't know how it's all going to work out. I don't know why this is going to be so different than all the disappointments I've had in the past, or, you know, why it's in my best interest to kind of re-spark my idea in such a concept as true love, when all my experiences in this life up to this point in time have shown me the exact opposite. You know, this person may have even kind of like gotten sort of a mindset of there is no such thing as love, there's only lust. Love is just like a power dynamic between two people, you know, very like toxic and kind of like negative belief systems, mindsets that were influenced by kind of their own experience, what they're seeing in the world around them, you know, kind of what most people are sort of advocating for in terms of like what they're looking for, either in the dating pool or just, you know, kind of the ideas about love in general. So many people just like down on love in this day and age. And so that's something that this person just kind of like picked up that narrative, and it made sense for them. They ran with that based on their own sort of disappointments and heartbreak up to this point in time. And you've come through and you've shattered that illusion. There's like a hope, a spark of hope that has been ignited within this person. And it feels like that possibility between the two of you is now being held in a place within them of more of a wise investment than continuing to walk this very familiar path of being down on love. This is somebody that wants to make it known to you that despite all their fears, many of which they have vanquished, they have conquered, they have come to understand for what they are, that they are nevertheless committed to seeing through whatever next phase is to happen between the two of you, and not in a passive way of like, we'll just see what happens. Let's just let things develop very organically, because it feels like when they've taken that organic approach up to now, it's created distance. It's empowered that kind of mind chatter, that sort of path of fear within. So this is somebody that wants to be very proactive in terms of like, yeah, I sat in that energy of doubt long enough. I want to bring some certainty. I want to create concise movement forward. They may come forth in a very like dominant energy, something that may surprise you compared to like how they were operating in this connection before, but it feels like it's just the right thing. It's just the right push that the two of you need, perhaps, in order to get things back on track, or to accelerate into this next phase where the power dynamic between the two of you can shift, or you can move beyond that concept of a power dynamic altogether, and it's just two people embodying like their own sort of spectrum of energy, learning to do a dance that is very unique, very specific to just the two of them, on into the possibilities of like, yeah, there's this feeling, there's this connection, there's this attraction, there's this mutual interest, coupled with whatever needs to happen in the material world in order to, provide you both with certain reassurances, in order to secure a future with one another, in order to build in a very practical sense in the form of, conversations, dates, encounters in the physical world, honesty, truth, promises that are fulfilled, utilizing time as the secret weapon in this case, in order to, not move too quickly, but allow the two of you to kind of progress at a pace that is both comfortable and challenging. So you get out of this rut, so you get out of the stagnation, so you get out of this kind of period of time where there may have been a lot of empowerment of doubts and not enough empowerment of that path of love. So this is somebody that wants to, again, like cut through that silence, cut through the mystery, bring you that truth, bring you that clarity, kind of just lay it all out on the table and see if what they have to offer is something that you are interested in. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.